So I've just saw this on the Pentagon press briefing. You can see it right here. Let me do this. Let's make General Pat Ryder. He is the Pentagon press secretary. And this is a short clip. This is like an hour, not an hour, a minute. It has something to do with Yemen, and he said it's an uptick in what they can expect. Let's get it going. Let's push the button, you all.
Crew of the guided missile destroyer USS Carney,
Hello,
operating in the
Applebrooks.
northern Red Sea earlier today, shot down 3 land attack cruise missiles and several drones that were launched by Houthi forces in Yemen. This action was a demonstration of the integrated air and missile defense architecture that we have built in the Middle East, and that we are prepared to utilize whenever necessary to protect our partners and our interests in this important region. There were no casualties to U.S. forces and none that we know of to any civilians on the ground. We cannot say for certain what these missiles and drones were targeting, but they were launched from Yemen, heading north along the Red Sea, potentially towards targets in Israel. Our defensive response was one that we would have taken for any similar threat in the region, where we're able to do so against our interest personnel and our partners. We are certainly taking appropriate force protection measures to ensure the safety of our troops. Again, I'm not going to get into specifics. Clearly, this is an uptick in terms of the types of drone activity we've seen in Iraq and Syria.
Hello. Whoopsies, you all. So you are just... No, I don't want to see that. Hold on. I got to get that thing off of there, you all. Dear goodness. Y'all, hold on a second. I got this mess going on. Jenny, you got a mess going on? Of course I got a mess going on. I'm trying to look at General Pat Ryder. I should have went over there to the Pentagon press secretary. So you can see these right here. Look at all these headlines. Pentagon comments on recent drone attacks. They shoot down missiles fired from Yemen. They think that it was headed toward Israel because it was going toward the Red Sea. So, they know something's happening. They do. Now they got the USS. Who we got right over here? Oh, I can't see it. Oh, I wanted to see. Oh, okay. The Gerald and Ford Carrier Strike Groups. Oh. Oh, my goodness gracious, you all. So, there's General Pat Ryder. Let's go over to the Pentagon press. Let's go to the Pentagon press briefings. Let's do it. Pentagon press briefing. Let's see what he's got going on. You can see he's made headlines again, General Pat Ryder. I'm sure that, what's her name? Well, Gina, you know her name. I know her name. I know who it is. It's, I think this is it. This may not be it. Let's see, we're over here to Pentagon press stories right here. Yeah, there he is right there. He held a press briefing, and there's Sabrina in her outfit again. You all look at Sabrina, honey. She's a little baby. She is. Come on now. Let me make this bigger. I want to see Sabrina walking in here. She always looks the same with her nose. Look, her nose is always the same when she walks in here. She's a gray nose. And that guy, he don't have nothing going on. Let's look at General Pat Ryder. Everybody's on their cell phone again. Let's see him.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for your patience. We do have quite a bit to cover today, so thank you in advance. While I go through some detailed information here. First of all, let me address the ongoing situation in the Middle East and the Department of Defense response. And then I'll discuss the reports of drone attacks against U.S. facilities in Iraq and Syria. As you are all aware, Secretary Austin recently directed several steps to strengthen DoD posture in the region to bolster regional deterrence efforts, to include deploying the USS Ford Carrier Strike Group to the Eastern Mediterranean, along with the USS Eisenhower currently underway and en route. Additionally, we are also enhancing our fighter aircraft presence in the Central Command region to provide additional capabilities. By posturing these U.S. naval assets and advanced fighter aircraft in the region, we aim to send a strong message intended to deter a wider conflict, to bolster regional stability, and of course,
I'm back, Charlotte.
We will protect and defend our national security interests. To that end, the crew of the guided missile destroyer USS Carney, operating in the northern Red Sea earlier today, shot down 3 land attack cruise missiles and several drones that were launched by Houthi forces in Yemen. This action was a demonstration of the integrated air and missile defense architecture that we have built in the Middle East and that we are prepared to utilize whenever necessary to protect our partners and our interests in this important region. There were no casualties to U.S. forces and none that we know of to any civilians on the ground. Information about these engagements is still being processed. We cannot say for certain what these missiles and drones were targeting, but they were launched from Yemen along the Red Sea, potentially towards targets in Israel. Our defensive response was one that we would have taken for any similar threat in the region, where we're able to do so against our interest personnel and our partners. This attack may be ongoing, so if we have more information to share, we will. But again, as the Secretary has made clear, we have the capability to defend our broader interests in the region and to deter regional escalation and broader expansion of the conflict that began with Hamas's attack on Israeli civilians on October 7th. The crew of the Carney did just that, and across the force, we will remain vigilant to any other potential threats. And while I'm on the topic of threats, let me provide an update on the reports of several drone attacks against U.S. facilities in Iraq and Syria. Early yesterday morning, Syria time, October 18th, the At-Ta'f garrison in Syria was targeted by 2 drones. U.S. and coalition forces engaged one drone, destroying it, while the other drone impacted the base, resulting in minor injuries to coalition forces. Also, the same morning in Iraq, early warning systems indicated a possible threat approaching the airbase at Al-Assad, and base personnel sheltered in place as a protective measure.
Hello, Donna.
Though no attack occurred, sadly, a U.S. civilian contractor suffered a cardiac episode while sheltering and passed away shortly thereafter. And our deepest sympathies and condolences are with the loved ones of the individual who passed away. And as you know, the day before, on October 17th, U.S. military forces defended against 3 drones near U.S. and coalition forces in Iraq. In western Iraq, at Al-Assad Air Base, U.S. forces engaged 2 drones, destroying one and damaging the second, resulting in minor injuries to coalition forces. Separately, in northern Iraq, U.S. forces engaged and destroyed a drone near Bashir Air Base, resulting in no injuries or damage. And while I'm not going to forecast any potential response to these attacks, I will say that we will take all necessary actions to defend U.S. and coalition forces against any threat. Any response, should one occur, will come at a time and a manner of our choosing. Now, in light of all of this activity, Secretary Austin continues to actively engage with his counterparts and leaders within the Middle East. Today, he conducted a series of calls, which included discussions with His Highness President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed of the United Arab Emirates, Amir Sheikh Tamim of Qatar, and Saudi Arabia Minister of Defense Khalid bin Salman Al Saud. Secretary Austin also spoke with Israeli Minister of Defense Yoav Gallant just a few moments ago. And during these calls, he reiterated U.S. support for Israel's right to defend itself from terrorist attacks, and also underscored the importance of safeguarding innocent civilians, both Palestinian and Israeli. He emphasized again that any country or any group thinking about trying to take advantage of the situation in Israel to try to widen the conflict should think twice and not doubt the resolve of the United States. It is our aim to avoid any regional expansion of Israel's conflict with Hamas, but we stand ready and prepared to protect and defend our partners and our interests, and we will act to do so. Readouts of these calls will be posted to the DoD website later today. And with respect to U.S. support to Israel, the first shipments of military aid, including munitions, began arriving in Israel last week and continue to arrive on a near-daily basis.
Pentagon Press
This
Secretary.
is comprised of capabilities requested by Israel to include precision-guided munitions, such as joint direct attack munitions, small-diameter bombs, 155mm artillery ammunition, and other categories of critical equipment. In addition, Iron Dome interceptors from stocks that the United States has in country have been quickly provided to Israel. And in the days ahead, we'll be flowing additional Iron Dome interceptors so that Israel has the capabilities they need to sustain their Iron Dome defense systems and protect their citizens and cities from rocket attacks. We will leverage several avenues available to us to include our stocks and industry channels that reinforce the United States' unwavering and ironclad support for both the Israeli Defense Forces and the Israeli people. As always, the Department of Defense will continue to support, plan, and undertake these critical missions professionally and with the inherent right to protect our force. And with that, I will be happy to take your questions. We'll start with a...
So that is Brigadier General Pat Ryder. He is the Pentagon Press Secretary. He gives all the press briefings along with Sabrina, who's sitting there, that she looks like she's CGI. This was an update on what happened in, oh, come on now. It's an update that happened with Yemen firing.
Launched from Yemen, heading...
Yemen fired missiles, ground-based missiles, and they took, a U.S. destroyer took out some ground-based missiles and drones that were headed over toward Israel and stuff like that. So, yeah, this is General Pat Ryder. Is he CGI? Well, let me see. I don't know. At this point, we're getting to the point. It doesn't matter if they're CGI now, because when things start blowing up, it's going to have a real world experience. It's really whoever's calling the shots. It's literally going to affect us in a real way. It's real world. It's just what I want to say. Just totally a real world experience. So that's the news from the Pentagon. I'm going to stick this in our Pentagon press briefings, you all. So I am going to go. I am tired. I really am. So thank you all for tuning in. Give this video a thumbs up. Gina, I don't want to. Well, don't do it then. Do not do it. Besides, if you give a thumbs up, they're going to probably take it down anyhow. That's right, you all. So I'm going to go. And with that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello, from my heart to yours. Love you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. And if you remember, what did we do? It was like a day ago or 2 days ago. Something was about to happen, so we went over to the Pentagon press briefing, and they had a naval head of head of some kind of region, a region commander, and someone else given a what were they given? I don't know. They laying the groundwork for war. That's what they did. So we did a video before this. Yeah. So I'm going to go. You all have a wonderful night. And thank you, Apple Brooks, honey. If there's any other moderator, thank you. Thank you all for your comments. Good night.